What's going on, everybody? Top of the morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Yeah, hope everybody's doing well on this 4th of July. Hope everybody stays safe for sure. Everyone getting their cookout stuff ready in the park. 4th of July is a little bit touch and go for me. I don't really do too much on the 4th of July because number one, I don't really, I don't celebrate it. And number two, that's when the guns come out. So mixed with the fireworks at night. So I'm not really a big fan of the 4th of July, but I don't mind having a day off. But here nowadays, the day off don't matter to me because I work for myself. So I have my own days off. So it's not the same anymore when I used to have a traditional job. I can take off whenever I want. Um, but that's not why I came here today. I came here to talk about Armon Wiggins. And damn, he still got people buy. He actually doing that. This guy that has this channel, he actually the one doing it. Let me tell you why. Because I set it up for subscribers, so they got a bunch of bot accounts in here even subscribe to me. That's not by accident. I'm gonna reach out to him, yo. Like for real, I'm gonna reach out to him and see what's good about it. Because I tried to set it up to the point where it's only subscribers and it's still his still bots are coming in, so that's coming from him for sure. It is. I've already unsubscribed from him and all that, and I'm moving on. But he don't need to be keep spamming my chat. And how I know he's doing it is because I have it on subscriber only, so I know it's coming from him. um Hold on one second, I'll be right back. Yeah, so but we're gonna get to the Armon Wiggins incident because the media is blowing this up too much, and I was actually there and I know exactly what happened. Not only was I there, I actually talked to him. I actually talked to him right after it happened, like maybe about 20 minutes after the oil incident happened. I actually talked to Armand. And if you don't know, like the media is getting on him about it. They blowing it out of proportion. And I have to understand. You have to understand why they're blowing it out of proportion. You got to understand why they're doing it. You know why they're blowing it out of proportion, because I'm gonna tell you guys something real quick. The Empire was against Diddy. He had to defend these charges from 360. Certain entities in the media had an agenda. Certain YouTubers, well, the YouTubers are part of the media. Um, they had an agenda as well, and he was just getting it from everywhere, every direction. But I'm talking about the traditional media. They had some of them had an agenda. Some of them was fair and balanced. Um, but at any time they have to get on code because they work. This is they're employed, so they have to provide talking points on what they're told to do when it comes down to it. And then you have the YouTubers, their media as well. Um, you had certain people selected within that camp that have an agenda. And then you have the rest of us that, we just dare to call it how we see it. So immediately after the verdict, there was a lot of people. You could see certain people that was sent by the machine. They had immediate talking points. I knew what their talking points were. They always blame us when something don't go their way. They gotta blame us. Like we put Diddy in this situation. We didn't put Diddy in this situation. They did. We didn't bring charges up. They used the brother to do it. That Trump told him to get up out of Dodge. Damian Williams. He the one brought it on. But if he's related. He's not related, but he has an affiliation with Rupert Murdoch. That's all I'm gonna say to you. There is it's like a how I say it. It's like a power struggle going on within this country. Not even within this country, within this world. Actually, you have people that want a true government, and then you have some that want to cause division for other reasons. And so you have a battle going back and forth. So the establishment, they already had their talking points. They already blaming us. Oh, you're fans of Diddy. You're celebrating your fans. First of all, it's not our fault that the results happened the way they happened. We know this wasn't a RICO. It was going against your common sense. That wasn't our fault. You just thought that people out here are stupid. People out here are awake now. This is the first time, I think, in modern history, and I'm talking about the current modern history. I'm not talking about because there was dynasties way before us. I don't know if those people were are awake. They probably were. I'm talking about in this current stage of humanity. People are awake. You still got some that are robots, but you got some thinkers out here. And the jury represents the populace, unless they're going to try to change it. But as of right now, normal men and women represent the jury, and they represent the populace. And I know they're thinkers. I never forget what somebody said to me. They say, "Man, these people in New Yorkers, they're not buying this." I said, "Well, okay, I understand New Yorkers, but I'm just saying because that person said it from the perspective of he think everybody else ain't hip. That person probably hasn't traveled enough. I traveled. There's people awake all over the country, all over the world. You just need to travel and get out of New York City. That's what that is. That's just exactly what that is. But that's neither here nor there. Um, People are awake, and you don't leave your common sense at outside the deliberation room. And they didn't. They said, "Is this really a racketeering case here?" I don't think so. So they voted no. And that's it. That's what happened. We don't sit here and knock the jury, but I knew some people were going to knock the jury because they had an agenda. They had an agenda, and they got mad because when things. Let me tell y'all how it works. When things don't go their way, you don't get your kickbacks. See, they were waiting for their kickbacks. They were going to get a lot of kickbacks after this because they represented the agenda. But now that it didn't happen, them kickbacks not promised no more. It's just like, just think about it. When two guys or two whoever is campaigning, or two entity, or two, whether it's Democrat or Republican, they're campaigning for the White House. You have a lot of people working for them, right? Um, they say things in the media to back their person, whether it's right or wrong. They have their agenda, right? But when their side loses, the stuff that they were promised is not going to happen. That's kind of how this case was. There was some rumors about somebody that this person was getting special favor. Now, like I said, I'm like this. You have to speak a certain way because at the end of the day, that person can come back and try to attack you, and when that happens, you got to have receipts. When I say receipts, you have to have paperwork when you accuse somebody of something. But we all see things for what it is. Yeah, we all see things for what it is. But you just have to, if you're really going to go down there, you just got to have the paperwork to be ready to back it up. But certain people, they're still saying, oh, he got more charges coming. He has this. These people work for the establishment that says that, right? It's obvious they have an agenda, um, which is okay. It's okay if they have an agenda, but it's not okay when they start to go on the offense and start attacking people. He dropped your stick. Yeah, he dropped it. He forgot about it. He got distracted. Hello. He's healthy. Yeah. Little Frenchie. Um, so when they start going on the attack, and I'm under attack as well, but I don't really speak on it. Just like somebody keeps spamming my channel, and I know that person is doing it. And when I reach out to the person, I don't get no response. These people don't respond to me. And so that's what that is. They on the attack. They're using the talking points now. They're saying, oh, they're Diddy fans, and they are for domestic violence and stuff like that. They're blaming us, and that's like they need to get with the program. Like that's not what it is. Nobody is no. I'm not for domestic violence. No, I don't think the average thinking sane person is for domestic violence. They're not for that, but they're gonna push that narrative. They're gonna put it back on us now, the content creators. Oh, you're for domestic violence and stuff like that. And a lot of people, they weren't boots on the ground. They weren't even there. And if you were there and you were listening to this, you know that common sense will tell you this wasn't no Rico. That's common sense. But common sense, they say, is only exercised by the wise, and it's not really that common. That's what they tell me. It's not really that common. And common sense is not something you can teach, actually. It's not. You can't teach common sense. You either have it or you don't. But some of these people do have common sense, just to let you know. But they pushing their agenda. This man had so much money that he was able to beat the system a little bit. And I know some people say, well, he really didn't beat the system. He really didn't beat the system because he got convicted. He really did beat the system. He really did. He was facing life. He's not going to get life. So he kind of did a little bit. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know that he was convicted on the Mann Act. Anybody can get convicted on the Mann Act. That's almost the easiest charge to get convicted on. But we should not live in a society where they pick and choose. Okay, we need to go after this person, so let's just use this against them. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. So let me just tell you what really happened here, because I was there. It's verified that I was there because I actually got a little bit of a recording of it. I was in the crowd when that was happening, and I was live. So I'm not sitting up there just a talking head acting like I was there. I was there. And I actually had to get out of Dodge because they started boxing people in. So what happened was he was doing reenactments on his channel. He always do it. And him and Uda got together and said, yo, let's just do this real quick. They were not making fun of the victims. They were making fun of the whole situation itself, how ridiculous it was. going into somebody's bedroom and trying to put them away for their life for what they were doing in their bedroom. There's so many other critical things that they should be using their resources for in this country, but they don't do it. So they had to use a lot of resources was used because somebody was with baby oil. So that's why he was making fun of for that situation and how ridiculous it was. He wasn't making fun of domestic violent victims. He was not. And I actually talked to him, and I said to him, he said, "Yo, how did you do?" I said, "Yeah, that was a good spot. Improv. It was an improv." I said it was good, but I was like, "Yeah, it's not going to be received well." And I had shook his hand. I said, "Yo, they getting ready to come for you." I don't think he quite heard me. I said, "They getting ready to come for you," but I understand. And sure enough, they came for him. And then he had to release a statement, you know, with his position. He had to release a statement. I'm gonna tell you why, guys. Armon had to release a statement because eventually they were gonna come for him, and he won't have no more channel. They will eventually watch him. They're watching him now. If he didn't think he was being watched before, he's being watched now. Any little false move he make, they're gonna try to take him down because they're mad, yo. They're mad. They're mad because they didn't get a full victory here. They wasted a lot of resources for the jury to come back and say not guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, not guilty, guilty. That wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be they were going for a home run, and it wasn't. It was two not guilties. They wanted all guilties. And if they had all guilties, let me tell you this: if they had all guilties, Armand would have never got attacked. They would have just said, "Oh, Armand is being funny, and it's hilarious." But they don't think it's hilarious right now. Oh no, they don't think that's hilarious. Hey, what's up? What's up, Robin? Yeah, you talking about the Playboy Mansion? Yes. So that's back in history. If you know, you know. The reason why, if Hefner was still alive, maybe they would have came after him. But see, Hefner played his position. That's why they didn't come after him. He played his position, man. A lot of people said he was an agent, and Hefner was kind of down a little bit, just a little bit. He was kind of down. Let me tell you why. When Dick Gregory and all the other comedians was coming up back in the day, they couldn't perform in certain clubs because it was segregated out there in California. Segregation, we all know about segregation. Some of us are only one generation removed from segregation because our parents grew up in it, right? So he allowed Dick Gregory to perform in his club, even though he was like, I don't care, I'm not segregating my club. I like Dick Gregory. So that's what Hugh Hefner did. But he still had to play his position, though. He was one of the gatekeepers, actually. He used to record everything that happened in the Playboy Mansion, like they said Puff did. The things that they accused him Puff of, he was actually groomed. Somebody made him the Hollywood it man, and I want to know who made him that. He didn't make himself the Hollywood it man. When I say the Hollywood it man, he was like a gatekeeper. He was like, we got stuff on you. Now, when they went in there, you can't tell me when they raided his mansions, they didn't find those tapes. If they didn't find those tapes, then he has to be careful. I'm assuming they found those tapes. If they did not find those tapes, and if the story is true that he had those tapes moved to Europe in a vault somewhere, um, you said you were old and you were born during segregation. Yeah, a lot of us are only one generation removed from it. Some of us were young during then. I wasn't there. My mother was young during segregation. And there's still relics around from segregation for when it used to be um, Negro only, white only, and colored only. Those are all three separate things. Like, what's the difference between colored and Negro? Well, color was everybody else of color. You still was segregated too. I don't give a damn if you were Japanese. You still couldn't go in on white establishments. That's a whole matter of fact. That's why they say colored, Negro, and white only. But this is what some people didn't know about segregation. That my mother said in her community, they had white only and Negro only and all that. And she told a story one time. They used to pass by this white bakery, right? They used to pass by it and go to the bakery that was like 3 miles away. They used to have to walk 3 miles to get to the nearest bakery they can go to. And the white bakery was getting business, but wasn't getting all that type of business. So then the lady came out and said, "Why don't y'all come here? Because y'all walking." She said, "I could drive you, but she said I could drive you, but why don't you come here? I got everything you need right here." And my grandmother said, "Well, it says white only." Man, that lady took that sign down. She said, "F that." She said, "Y'all come up in here." She said, "This ain't no white only establishment no more." It was a German lady actually that owned it, and the lady was from Germany, and she didn't quite understand it, why it was white, and she didn't understand all that. She just thought they were native. She said, y'all Native Americans." She didn't understand the whole black and white thing because she had just moved there. So she took that white only thing down because they told her to put it up. She said, "I'm not doing this." She said, "Y'all come up on in here." She said, "Sugar, come on up in here." She said, "My sugar is good as that sugar." She said, "It's all the same sugar." And so it was just ridiculous. That time was ridiculous, but that's what Hugh Hefner did back then. But he was still connected, though, for him to be able to run Playboy and do what he did. Listen, Hugh Hefner, the lady was just telling a story about Hugh Hefner. If Hugh Hefner was around, surely he would have got sued. Either he would have got sued or he'd have been in court. She said when they had to have sex with him, they used to line up. And the last one had to be the finisher, if you know what I mean. And everybody used to try to rush in line and not be the last one. Because you only lasted a few minutes with him, a minute or so with him, and got off top of him, and the other one came on. Yeah, that's how it was. And then the last one to go was the one to finish. That's what he used to do. So imagine if the government had came into his bedroom, he'd be sitting up there where Puff is. He most certainly would. But the fact that he wasn't sitting up there with Puff because the establishment didn't come after him. But the establishment, for whatever reason, like I said, Puff was down with that establishment. I'm not saying he wasn't down, because he was. He was down with that establishment, and it fired back on him. Okay, he was down with him now. He was. He was in bed with him. When I say in bed, not literally. He was down with him. And Puff, what happened was he started talking conscious talk. He was battling both worlds because something in his DNA was saying what he was doing, like, yo, you got to be conscious more. And I saw where a lot of his donation dollars went. A lot of his donation dollars went back to the community. Because I didn't see these HBCUs giving his money back. I didn't see Jackson State giving his money back now because they've been quiet. They've been quiet because he gave him $1 million. I know because I've been following Coach Prime. I have a Colorado channel where I follow Coach Prime. So I know the whole situation with him giving Jackson State $1 million. They didn't give it back. And that's not the only HBCU he gave money to. Now, they tried to, how they took away Cosby stuff, but they didn't give back his money, though. They didn't do that. All of these guys were in bed with these elites because that's how they got so far in Hollywood. Cosby is no different. But what happened was, listen, Cosby, this is not no conspiracy theory. First of all, he got land that he didn't want to sell. And there's something under that land. But he's not the only one, though, that lives in that gated community that has oil under their land. He's not the only one. And a lot of them didn't want to sell. And they still have it. They still have it. and is very rich under that land. So some people said that was it, or we don't know why they bucked that Bill Cosby. Some people say he wanted to buy NBC. I don't know, but only he know why they bucked at him. Only he knows this. They bucked at Trump too. Just don't think it's a color thing. Don't think it's a color thing. It's not. It's them against us. The reason why we think it's a color thing is because that those are political terms. Black and white are political terms. Okay, that is not when you say, "Hey, what are you? I'm black." What the fuck does black mean? You don't see a Mexican saying that. What are you? You from Mexico, right? So you Mexican. Okay. You from France. You French. You're a Frenchman. Okay. You from Nigeria. You Nigerian or Igbo or whatever you say. Some say Igbo and all that. I already know what it is. They don't say Nigerian. They say the Igbo. They say whatever tribe they from, right? Okay, cool. You from the Dinka tribe? Okay, cool. You South Sudanese, South Sudanese, which is one of the youngest countries in the continent of Africa, or you from the North, or whatever tribe you from. That's how people recognize everybody around the world if you travel. I have not heard one person when I had went out of the country call me black. They say you're American, which means that if your lineage goes back and back and back and back and back from this country, you are what we call Native American. We're Native. Or you can just say American, one way or the other. But those are political terms that they use to divide us in this country, and it's working. They still dividing us. Even within our own demographic, we're divided. We're divided in our own demographic. We practice colorism within our own demographic. So how are we going to sit here? They can do anything to Puff, and we can't help them because we're fragmented within our own demographic. So we can't help him. He's by himself. But we didn't tell him to go get in bed with these people. He went in bed with these people because he wanted the power. But see, here's the thing. When he got the power, when he got up there, he realized that he's still not equal. That's what he said. He said, there's new challenges when you go up to that door. There's still new challenges. And then he wanted his liquor to be promoted to the general masses, not just his people. He didn't like the fact that his stuff was just being promoted in the hood. He didn't like that. He wanted his stuff to be promoted all over the world. And that's why some people seem to think he's here, but we don't know. We can't verify that. But he's not the only one that had to sue the liquor company. Jay had to sue to get his money. So I'm a little worried about him. I'm a little worried because people keep talking about, what about Jay? What about Jay? What about him? You got to understand, when they get to the top, they still feel lesser than. They like, I got all this money. Why I still got to keep getting buffaloed around? How come I can't get treated the same way? That's what Puff said. How come I can't get treated the same way as these other liquor brands? Why can't you promote me the same way? Well, they're not going to promote you the same way. They're using you. They're using you. They say, you know what? Your people spend a lot of money. Let me just use you and put your face on it so that we can make money and we'll make you a billionaire. You do as you told. And he sit up there and started bucking and started talking conscious, and here we are. You cannot convince me that's why we're not here. I already knew he was. I said I already had a video years ago saying that he was a marked man because in that Clive Davis event, he said you need to pay us what you owe us, and you got 365 days or else. Now my question is, why did he say or else? Did he have something on these people? I knew he was a marked man. I said it was a matter of time. And guess what they do? They use our own people within our own demographic to attack him. So that, you know why? So it won't look racist. That's why. So it won't look like it's, they're picking on the melanated man. Let's get away from the crayon colors and stop saying black. Ain't no such thing. The melanated man or the indigenous man. Okay? They didn't want to make it look like that, so they had some vloggers that look like us to attack them, so it can even it out a little bit, so it can even out. I'm what you call the observer. I just sit and watch. I'm almost invisible. I'm just sitting. Now, even I was just kind of like invisible out there. I'm just watching things go down. I said, I know Armon. They about to get him. They about to attack him. They didn't attack Uda. Why? He not as big as Armon. They would have attacked him too, but they said they didn't feel like they needed to. But they went after him though. They sure did. He didn't spray that oil on himself. There was other people helping him out. Then what they said was these are the Diddy supporters, and then somebody said that we're idling him. That Diddy is our idol. First of all, I'm too old to have an idol. That's number one. I'm too old. I'm too old to have an idol. Maybe when I was younger, but when you get to be my age, if you 20 years old, you're too old to be having an idol. If you're 18 years old, you're too old to have an idol. Okay? If you're 16 years old, you're too old to have an idol. Anything below 15, I could see you having an idol. And usually it's your parents. It should be your parents. So I knew what was going on. I knew our mom was going to be under attack. I knew it. I knew it was coming. See, they do little things to attack me, but I've been doing it so long, I hardly read comments. I hardly do it. But when you come in here and spam me and stuff like that, they're trying to get under my skin. It's not going to work. I've been getting spam since I've been doing this. So that's not going to work. And I watch what I say. So that's not working either. You can't use what I'm saying against me because that's not going to work. I'm too refined. I'm too refined. So that's not working either. I can sit here and give you a piece of my mind and be politically correct at the same time. Do I make mistakes? Yes, I do, but not enough for them to mess with me. I stay out of trouble. I saw the trouble out there. Let me tell you all this. You remember when they said there was fights out there? The answer was no, but those guys were placed there. They were placed there. They had a job to do. How do I know? Because they told me. They said, Max, get your camera roll and watch what I do. And then it looked like they were arguing. They were placed there. Brothers, too. It was brothers strategically placed there to cause a disturbance. A brother, too, at that. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Let me tell you that. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. You can't pay me enough money. I joke and say, well, how much are they paying? You can't pay me enough to sit up here and not speak my mind. You can't. Because people were approaching people trying to pay them. They took one look at me, and when I was talking, they said, "Nah, we can't approach that brother. We just can't. He speak his mind too much. We can't." Because they've been watching. The mainstream approached me. They sure did. But when I sat there and said, "Well, how do you feel?" I said they didn't meet their burden. So they knew. They said, "Oh, you know what they said? You sound like you know what you're talking about." I said, "Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Why is it out of the ordinary for me not to know what I'm talking about? Of course I know what I'm talking about." And they move right along, carry along, and go to somebody else. That's it. Not all, but I will say this about the media though. They didn't give you false information when they were reporting. They didn't. They didn't tell you everything. They were strictly down the middle, which I respected. But they didn't tell you everything that was going on. All the particulars. They can't. They just have to be general. They were very general in their reporting. But let me tell you what I heard outside of the camera. They thought Diddy was getting buffaloed around. Yes, they did. But they said, well, look, I have to say this off the record. They said, I have a job to do, and I can't say this on camera, but this is bullshit. They said this to me. They said this to me. And I said, I know what it is. I understand. I just shook my head. I understand. I understand why you can't report it because you have a job. You're getting paid. I get it. So that's what this was about here. I was strictly there for the trial to see how the lawyers go about their business. And I was completely impressed on both sides. I was impressed. Because at the end of the day, guess what the lawyer said? Garrigo said, he said, at the end of the day, there was a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no love lost. You know what I'm saying? It's just a mutual respect. They were just going about their business. But they have a job to do as well, the prosecutors. So, but yes, I understand this system very well to know that I didn't put him here. He got in bed and they got mad. They got mad. That's what I believe. They got mad. There's nothing new under the sun. It's always been happening. They will give you whatever you want as long as you fit what they want you to do. They made this man a billionaire. He became a billionaire because of the spirits, because of the liquor. That's how he became a billionaire and took it away from him. Now they say he worth 400 million. Now listen, that's still fuck you money. That's still enough money to just not do nothing else. But this is what I suspect and they're worried about. Once he goes free, he's going to be on the offensive. He's going to start suing people. That's why I tell people, be careful what you say now, because if you're working for the system, they're not going to defend you. If he come back and say, listen, you've been spreading misinformation on me, and now I'm suing you, they can't help you. You're on your own. He woke up. What happened was, I believe he was in a depressed state since he'd been locked up. Because I believe what Tekashi 6ix9ine was saying. He said he was in there because Tekashi violated, and he had to go in there for 2 months. He said when he first went in there, he was in the same area with Puff, and he was sleeping all day. He wasn't doing nothing, and he said, "Puff, they sitting here talking about you. You better get up and fight." So yes, he was depressed, but now he don't woke up. He's very active at that table. All he has to do is spend his resources and get the best attorneys in America together and start suing people and start counter suing people. Once he goes free, it'll be better for him to fight these civil cases and then counter sue them and have it drag out in court for years to where money is getting exhausted to finally be like, we dropping this. I know how these civil cases go. They can go on for years. You got to have the resources to to fight somebody like that. Unless you have a lawyer that's for sure that he's going to win the case. If you have a strong case against him, all you got to do is be patient then, and they'll take your case pro bono. And then eventually, what will happen is he will settle. You won't get what you're asking for, but you will get something if you have a strong case. And if it is a case where they have a strong case, more than likely it's outside of the statute of limitations, so it's not going to go criminal. I'm not saying it makes it right. I'm not saying that some of these people don't have cases. Maybe they do. But, maybe they do have cases. We'll find out. But this thing is going to drag out for years and years, probably, some of them. The same thing with Tyler Perry. The empire is striking on him now. They're striking back. I often say that there's a shift going on in this country. They no longer need gatekeepers. I think that's what it is, but I'm not sure. I'm not certain. They don't need the gatekeepers no more. But they still have gatekeepers, but they really don't need them anymore. We got AI and all this other stuff, and we got other things, tools they can use. They don't need them no more. They don't need humans no more to spread their agendas. They don't. But the empire certainly is striking back. And like I said, he got in bed with him. I didn't. So in order to reach that level in the entertainment industry and um, billionaire status. You had to get in bed with these people. You had to. But see, he still got a little bit of consciousness in him, right? That he didn't want to be sitting up there answering to him. He didn't want to do that. He want to be his own boss. But he had a boss though. And then, I'm not saying he's perfect because he was doing the most. He was, and they used it against him. Not saying he's perfect because he wasn't. And if you're gonna buck the system, you got to be squeaky clean. If you're gonna buck the system, and then what they'll do is they'll settle or mess around and erase you or somehow. I never forget what Eddie Griffin said. He said nobody leaves this game clean. They got something on everybody. He not lying. But I'm telling you, I was out there with that oil incident. They were just out there making fun of the situation of because what happened was, you had to have been there because before that, they told people there was drugs in the baby oil, 1,000 bottles of baby oil, um, everything. There's tapes on Justin Bieber. They told us everything. There is nothing like that in that case. If there is, how come they didn't introduce it? Interesting, huh? Maybe they were trying to protect some people. I don't know. But we would never know. We don't have nothing to back that up. But the only thing I can tell you is it wasn't in this case. If there was anything involving minors, let me tell you, if they could have found something, they would have introduced it in the case because that would have certainly put him away. Certainly. That would have put him away. If there are tapes out there that exist, right? Let's say if there's tapes out there like that exist, that means he's not the only one. That means some high profile people it was involved that they're just trying to protect. So I say lock them all up. Now they're saying they're trying to push this narrative and saying that they're getting ready to charge him with something else. This is not over. Well, wait a minute. The case is technically not over yet. He didn't get sentenced yet. He still have to get sentenced. And if I was him, I'd be a little bit concerned about the sentence. I'll be a little concerned. The reason why I say that is because they may have felt like he didn't learn his lesson. And the judge has ultimate discretion in this case. So it's up to the judge at this particular point on what he's going to get. They said, well, he can get sentenced to time served. I understand that, but I don't think so. I don't think he's going to get sentenced to time served. He's going to do some time. He don't want to do no time, but ultimately that may happen. Mark Garrigo said there's other things he can do and to shave that time off. Mark Garrigo said he's looking at time. He's looking at some type of time. But there's certain things he can do to get it shaved off, different things like that down the future. But he is looking at some time. I just don't know if it's a couple years or several years. We're gonna find out. But he has to know in his mind that he has to think the worst case scenario and be prepared for it. Because that judge could run it consecutive. He said, okay, I'll give you 5 years on each charge and run it consecutive. That means he won't be out until maybe 7.5 to 8 years. He gotta be thinking that. He gotta be thinking that. And then after that, he's gonna have to see if he can get a pardon. I think the pardon will come after sentencing. They'll just wait to see if he or he might not get sentenced to that much time. He might have to do a year or so, which is not bad considering what he was facing. But the judge already said you're violent and you're a threat to society. So he's already denied the bail so many damn times. I knew he was going to deny this. He denied it so many other times. What makes him not a threat to society now? Because he beat those charges? No. He still think he's a threat because of what happened in the case. So he still got some work to do here. He was thinking he was supposed to be out on his 4th of July, celebrating. So he did get a slight victory. Slight. Because he still got to face time. So for me, that's not a there's a difference between pitching a 5-hit game and pitching a no-hitter. There's a total difference. No-hitters are very prestigious and hard to do. Or pitching a shutout. This wasn't no shutout or no-hitter. This is a 2-hitter because he got, on 2 charges. Here we go with this promotion again. Here we go. And that person's a subscriber too. That's how I know it's coming from there. But a no-hitter is quite rare. But this wasn't a no-hitter. This wasn't a no-hitter right here. Yeah, he's a convicted felon now. The only way he get that off is to get a pardon. But here's the thing, even with a pardon, it still don't leave your record. You know that, right? Just because you get a pardon don't mean it leaves your record. You just been forgiven and you can get out and get your liberties back and your passport. It still stays on your record. Somebody said he's going to have to register as a sex offender. The answer is no. You don't have to register as a sex offender, man. There was a brother out there saying that. And yes, it came from a brother. That's why I didn't associate with none of these brothers. They were funny style to me. I just stayed out of the way. But I saw what they were doing. I said, they're here to disrupt. That's what they're here to do. I'm like my grandfather. I don't like Uncle Tom's. I don't. And I'm sounding more like him as I get older. I do not like Uncle Tom's. That's why I stay to myself or just hang with women. I don't like Uncle Tom's. I don't. I just do not. I do not. Then the same people, if you're trying to go for your freedom and try to get away from slavery, them the ones say, Master, he running, Master. He said he gonna run tonight. Them the same ones. Them the same ones. He said he's running tonight, Master. He's running. He's running from us, Master, running from us. He's running from us. He's running from us, man. He's running from us. I do not like them type. They're the worst type. They're the worst type, man. And they try to act all hard when it come to us, but sit up there and show their teeth to everybody else. I sat there right in that crowd and said that. I said, look at him. He won't even go over here to this man and yell in his face. He gonna come yell at us. I said it my voice carries. I had to walk away. I said I had to walk away. I do not like that behavior. But it's nothing new under the sun. We've always had these Uncle Toms around. Always had them. You ever, when you get back, I don't have no food for you, man. This damn get back. Damn squirrel, man. I don't got no food. Is it food over here? Why is he coming over here? Um the spook that sat behind the door. It was crazy, man, back in the day when the Panthers were around. They had CIA agents, brothers, infiltrate them. And one brother gave a interview. I think it's still on YouTube, actually. And he talked about how he infiltrated them. It's crazy. It's interesting. We all know about Hoover. Hoover was my skin complexion. Did y'all know that? but his hair was straight, so he passed. He was passing. You rarely see colored photos of him. That's why. But when you see a colored photo, you're gonna understand what I'm saying. This place is crazy. And don't think he would just pass. An establishment knew who he was, just to let you know that. But they used him. Craziness, man. Yo, man, that's why you gotta be cautious out here and just stay out of the way. These people ain't no joke with their agendas. They ain't no joke, man. That's why I ain't getting in bed with them. They had people strategically come around and wanted to know your opinion. So they might could use you. They're like, okay, you think he's guilty? Okay, cool. Next thing you know, I would have been on nightly news saying that this man is guilty, looking like a whole fool. Looking like a whole fool, and it wouldn't have did nothing for me. They're like, yeah, we're gonna shout your channel out. It may have done something for me. Yeah, we would shout you. We'll get you all the views. Just say he guilty. Say he guilty on everything. Just say it. Don't have independent thought. Just we could use you. No, I couldn't do that. Yeah, Hoover was used. They knew who he was. He was trying to hide it from him, but they already knew who he was. But he didn't know that. He thought he was passing. No, they knew who he was. They knew who his family was. Because he stayed in contact with his family. Just so that he know that they won't out him. He stayed in contact with them. He sure did. He didn't show up at the cookouts, though. He was what you call a quadroon. Or you know how they give you labels and stuff like that. Quadroon and whatever you call it. But yeah, they strategically went around asking questions. They wanted you to fill out questionnaires. Oh, I filled out the questionnaire. I had a whole, I even used the back of the paper to explain this whole situation. They're like, we ain't using this guy. Oh no. I would have got right on that publication and said they have not met their burden yet. That's it. The guy was like, so what do you mean, like, by them not meeting their burden? I said, you don't know what that means? You said you're a lawyer, right? Yeah, I'm a lawyer. So, okay, so you know what I'm talking about then. Why I have to explain myself? You know what that means. They have the burden of proof, don't they? Yeah, okay, that's why'd you inquire? I said, you don't have to sit up here and ask a rhetorical question. You already know what the answer is. You seem like you really know what you're talking about. It was this guy that was, he was in the building, but you know, outside of the courtroom, outside the court, there's some seats out there. I said, man, if you don't get away from me with your cheap ass public defender suit, if you don't get away from me, man, I said, first of all, you're too young to challenge me, so get away from me. Then I said to him, I said, do you realize I've been following these trials since you were in fucking grammar school? So get away from me. I said, I don't want to talk no more. I said, your ass was in grammar school, man. You don't even remember 9/11. Get away from me. Sitting up here talking about, you seem like you know what you're talking about. I said, I said, you know who Rodney King is? Who is that? All right, then get away from me, man. You're too young. Get away from me. Just because you look a certain way and wearing a suit don't mean I'm going to sit up here and show my teeth to you, man. Get away from me, man. And he got away from me, too. Sit up here and try to, because he was trying to explain to me that it's a different way. Well, this is how they meet. I said, don't tell me this is how they meet in that burn. I'm sitting there listening to how you listening to it. With your slick back hair. Get away from me. Looking like a cheap ass car salesman. Get away from me. I said, who am I gonna believe? You or Garagos? He the OG in this game. How you gonna tell him he wrong? Gonna sit up here and tell me he's wrong? Man, get out of my way. Go sit down somewhere. You fresh out of law school. Go sit down somewhere. Go sit down, please. Okay? And that's it. He was in grammar school doing 9/11 and sitting up here talking to me. No, he wasn't in grammar. He was fresh out of grammar school. So don't sit here and talk to me. I'm too old. Go talk to somebody else and try to influence them. But as I said, I did tell him, I said, well, I will say this. They have a long way to go before they connect the dots. I said, but the burden of proof is on them. And you know what I told him? I said, I predict this, that they're not even going to put on a case. He said, who? The defense. Oh, surely they got to put on a case. No, they don't. They don't have to put on a case. Not if they don't want to. They don't have the burden of proof. The government does. Well, they have a high conviction rate. I said, well, watch this. I said, watch they don't win this. Watch. I said, I don't care about their conviction rate. Most of us don't have the resources to fight them. That's why. If a lot of us knew our rights, the state would have to let people go. Because if everybody requested for a speedy trial, they would have to let people go. Because they don't have enough resources to take everybody to trial. They don't have enough judges. You have to let people go. I tried to tell somebody a long time ago, I said, brother, listen to me. You under attack. I said, you need to get a lawyer now. Okay, I told this brother this. They sentenced this brother to life without parole plus 25, right? But before all that happened, years before that happened, I said, brother, listen to me. He came on my panel. I said, listen to me. I said, you need to get a lawyer. He said, why? I said, you need to get one. You need to go after these YouTube channels that's spreading misinformation on you. You need to take them down now. He said, nah, man, I'm good, man. He said, negative press is better than none at all. I said, it don't work that way no more, brother. I said, I'm coming to you. Me and him had a candid conversation. It was a moment in time. And I still have it, but it's private. The video is private. It was a moment in time me and him had. I said, listen, I know what you're doing is going to be interpreted wrong. I said, if you come back to the United States, I said, they're going to attack you. I said, they have a file on you. And he said to me, nah, I'm good. He said, I got people backing me. I said, no, those people that's backing you, brother, they're not going to back you once you get in trouble. They're going to go away. And he told me, he said, no, well, some of the people that's backing me, you know, they're not brothers, you know, and they got power. I said, bro, they are on code with each other. They don't have to like each other, but they're on code when it's against you or me. I said, you need to go get a lawyer now. I said, I can recommend you one. And I said, he'll do it for a few $1,000s and he'll take these YouTube pages down. I said, you need to go ahead and pay the money and do it now. He said, nah, man, you tripping. I said, bro, I said, I hate to say this to you, but I'm going to be covering your case one day. And then he got off, and I said, that was the last time I talked to him. And now he's sitting up in jail with a life sentence plus 25 years without the possibility of parole. I knew it was coming. I wish he had listened, but he didn't listen. He does move in stealth mode, but the thing is about him is he stays out of the way. You notice he never went to a Diddy party. You notice that? He never did. He stays out of the way, but he got different type of friends though. That they started investment companies. That investment company is worth billions. Everybody is not out to get you in this world. Let me just say this real quick. The establishment is not out to get everybody. They're not. You have brothers out here. I tried to tell a sister today, is she listening? I said, there's brothers out here that's invisible. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, they're invisible. They don't go out. They don't hang out like that. If they do hang out, they're traveling. It's hard to find them because they're invisible. You might find them at the grocery store, but the only problem is they having their groceries delivered now. So you're not really going to find them. They're invisible. The reason why we're invisible is because we know that there's a lot of trouble out here and we stay out of the way. But the establishment is not going after everybody. They're not. They're only going after the ones that was in bed with them that bucked the system. Them the ones they're going after. They're not going after everybody. Don't live your life paranoid that they're gonna come after everybody. They're not. They're not gonna come after everybody. But if you get in bed with them, you have to not bite the hand that fed you, that feeds you. You get what I'm saying? Don't bite the hand that feeds you now. Because if you're gonna get in bed with them, you got to follow their rules. That's how it works. They told you in a movie, Trading Spaces with Eddie Murphy. Go look at the movie. They can make you into whatever they want to make you into overnight. But once you get in bed with them, you got to follow the rules. Michael bucked the system. He did. He bucked the system. They said, man, we if they tried to get him with that case, but they couldn't get him with that. They were like, damn, how we gonna get this dude, man? And that's how I feel about him. Yeah, it's a dirty game, but see, you don't have to be in bed with him. You don't have to. But if you are in an elite level where you're getting a lot of money, you just have to. The old saying goes, you have to play your position. As long as you play your position, they don't give a damn. They're not gonna sit here and come after everybody. Carmelo Anthony case is what we're gonna follow on this channel as well. Um, we are gonna follow the Carmelo Anthony case when it happens next year in 2026. But I must warn you right now: do not get emotional over this case. His family made a grave mistake. They did. They made a grave mistake when that the victim's father went to that press conference. He came in solidarity. He said he said, look, I don't want them to lose their son. Let's come together and see how we can fix this. They told him to leave. I know right then and there, the death penalty was coming. I knew it was coming. A matter of time. They did that to test the waters. That's going to be a case where it's going to be emotional, but please don't get emotional over it. Now, what I can say about his case is this. There's some knowns and there are unknowns. It's almost like an equation, right? You have X's and you have knowns. Sometimes you can't solve a problem if there's too many unknowns. But we do have some knowns that somebody is dead, deceased. Okay? And here's another known. Carmelo Anthony admitted to the murder. He said, yes, I killed him. I did it. And the police officer tried to help him. He said, listen, I didn't read you your rights yet, so you don't have to say nothing. He said, just wait a minute, because I didn't read you your rights yet. The officer said this, and I caught it on a press conference. The officer said it. I couldn't believe that officer said he said that. He was trying to help him. He said, listen, I didn't read you your rights yet, so I'm not going to record everything. So just wait a minute, because we're still trying to process the situation. So just wait a minute, because we got witnesses and everything, okay? So just chill out. He said, no, I really did do this. It was self-defense. And then the officer started writing it down. He had to. He had to do his job. He had to write it down. He's giving a statement right now. Okay, so he has to go to trial. So if he can prove this is a self-defense, did you know that the burden is going to be on the burden right now is on the defense. It's not on the state. Because now he has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that it was self-defense. Hey, how you doing? There are some unique cases where the defense had the burden of proof. He has the burden where he got to prove that it was self-defense. Because I'm sure that there was witnesses out there. Oh, it's going to be the death penalty. I studied Texas law. And I had said if I had went to law school, I would practice in Texas. I would take the Texas State Bar. People said why? I said because Texas is unique. It's the most unique place in the union, and there's a lot of movement in Texas. I can move. I can move and shake in Texas. Texas, what you call a eye for an eye state. You can move in Texas. You can do your thing. You can get with the right law firm and learn the tricks of the trade and really come up in Texas. That's a border state. There's a lot of things you could do there to make money. You can represent people coming over the border. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. Especially because I remember I was talking to my homegirl about it because she speaks Spanish. Me and her was like, I like, damn, I should go back and we should partner up. And we can represent people that don't have the money for representation and different things like that. And there's a lot of things you can do in Texas. Texas is like a secret, man. Like shit, you can move in Texas. You'll stay working forever in Texas. It's so much going on in Texas, but I do know this: it's an eye for an eye. They don't give a damn what color you are. If they ready to give you your death sentence, you gonna get it. They don't care. They'll wait 10, 20 years before they put you down. And I don't particularly agree with it because I like, damn, this is a different person now. But they don't care. And you dress in all white. You're in the Pulaski unit. They hold the death row inmates in the Pulaski unit. And then when you get your date, they move you to the Walls unit. But the Pulaski unit is very, 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 very harsh. You don't see, at least when some people in state in the penitentiary, at least they go out in the yard and get some sunlight. You know, um, they go out and get some sunlight in the yard. They don't get no sun, no natural sunlight in the yard. Like my cousin was telling me, he said, bro, he said, I was so happy to leave the state. He said, I was so happy to leave lockup and go to the penitentiary. He said, because you can move around a little bit. You go to the yard, you can build with people, you know what I'm saying? They got a law library. You can go out and get some sun. You can smell some grass. Where he was, they had grass. I don't know why that made a difference to him. Guys, it made a difference that they had grass. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get him on. He don't want to come on, but I don't know why that made a difference. He said, bro, they had grass, bro. And they had people out there, they were in charge of cutting the grass. I said, bro, what the grass? You was like, what the grass got to do with it? He said, bro, they had trees and grass. And I was like, why does that make a difference? He said, because when I was fighting my case, before he pleaded out, he took the plea, he couldn't go out. He didn't, it was all inside. But he said, we were talking about Texas. He said, when you in the death row, you don't get to go out. The only human interaction you have is with the guards when they moving you to the rec area in this little cage and to go take a shower. But your food and everything is served to you in the slot. And the lights are always on. I said, yo. He said your skin become a certain color. You start looking ashy because you don't have no sun. And they all do. They all got this certain look to them. It's very inhumane what them guys are going through. Very inhumane. And the thing is, after a while, their minds start to wander. And a lot of people that's really guilty, they start to come up with unique stories on why they're not guilty. All you got to do is type in on Google, type in Texas death row, and then go to the first site you see, and then go to all the people that they already executed from its since its inception. They killed the most people than any state in the union, I believe. They used to call George W. Bush the Texecutor, and they called Governor Rick Perry the Texecutor. That's how many people they put down, bro. Okay, they put that many people down. In fact, they put somebody down that was innocent. This guy called Cameron. It was a Cameron Todd Willingham. He was accused of unaliving his daughters, but it was electrical fire. They found out it was electrical fire after the death. Ain't that something? The governor said, well, he was a bad guy anyway. What you mean he was a bad guy anyway? He should be put. He should serve time for what he did, not what he didn't do. So that's why I don't agree sometimes with the death. But I do listen. If they, if Texas, if every other state in the union operated like Texas, the crime rate will go down. The murder rate will go down. I promise you that. It'll go down. And they wait too. They wait. You can wait 10 years before you get your date. And when, look, you're a totally different person. You might have been a killer back then, but you're a totally different person. You don't found God and everything, right? Totally different person. You became an old man, and they got your date. Sir, you got your date. And once you get your date, it's a matter of time before you move to the walls unit. And when you move to the walls unit, that's the first time you get daylight and you smell grass. Because you got to walk. They take the bus and go to the walls unit. Once you go in there, you're only a few feet away from the chamber. Few feet away. One day they got 3 people in one day. I kid you not. Go Google it. They got 3 people in one day. One in the morning, one after lunch, and one after dinner. I swear to you, they did. They did. It's not funny, but yeah, they did do that. And 3 in one day. 3. How do you do 3 in one day, man? 3 in one day. One after breakfast, one after lunch, and one after dinner. Why do I say that? Because they gotta give you a last meal. No sunlight. Okay? No natural sunlight. And you cannot touch your family ever again. It's only through a plexiglass and bulletproof glass. Okay? That's the only way. And a lot of these guys, they be getting married. I know you're like, damn, they be getting married. We can't even get married out here. They be getting married. There's a bunch of women. I'm not going to really speak on why they do it, but a bunch of women, some of them might have good intentions, but some of them marry these guys. I'm not saying marrying them just to get in the country, but some of them, they be marrying them. And I interviewed one of the ladies for my paper, my research paper, when I was in college. And she said, well, he didn't do it. I said, well, damn, it was a triple axe murder. And his DNA was at the scene. They caught him dead to rights. She said, yeah, but he's innocent. How's he innocent? She said, because he was under the influence. I said, that don't make him innocent. But yeah, that don't make him innocent. Y'all still promoting this dude channel, man. Listen, he don't need no promotion. He don't. He really don't. He don't need no promotion, man. Robert, he don't need no promotion, man. He really don't. You notice that, guys? Like, if you go to any other live chat, they be getting spam too, but never this dude's um YouTube channel. It never gets spam. It only with mine. It's crazy. That's because they be watching me, man. They know I know what I'm talking about. I sure do. I sure know what I'm talking about, man. But I'm telling you, man, this whole thing, Puff, when he do get out, he understands how the system works now. He done been inside the belly of the beast. So he gonna have a totally different perspective. No, but I have it to where Chantel, I have it to where this is a subscriber only chat. They're subscribed to me. That's the crazy part. That was planned already. Like, yeah, let's subscribe and all that. Those are not bots. There's people doing it. Those are not bots. The bots will do it if I don't have it on subscriber mode. Those are the bots. These are not bots. These are actually people doing it. These are people doing it. Because I reached out to him already and he didn't respond. He read it, but he didn't respond. That's how I know. He didn't respond to me. Um, so yeah, the system. He knows the system now. He know now. This is a life changing situation for him. He gonna move differently the next time because he was in the belly of the beast. He was in hell on earth, and he has a totally different perspective. He's a smart guy. He's not gonna make the same mistake twice. I promise you that. He not. He's too smart for that. He said Puff better come out using his money to help others in his position. He might, but then again, he better be careful. He better be careful doing that. He got to do it on the low. Yeah, he got to do that on the low. But he got a unique perspective on life now. He was in a complete vulnerable position, a humble position. He had regular everyday people decide his fate. He'd never been in that position before. Never. If he comes out acting the same way, I promise you he will be in court again. I promise you this. He will be. Will be in court again. If he don't think they had a file on him now, he know they got one on him now. But it's his life to live. Nobody can tell him how to live. It's his life. If he want to go back doing what he do, that's on him. If that's what he want to do, nobody can say nothing. He probably has somebody running it. He still has a company to run. He still have employees. That didn't change. He can be an activist, but he probably get targeted. Yes, he had to do it on the low by way of donations. He can do that. But see, it's a mindset. It has to start with him though. It's a total mindset. See, this is a behavioral problem. What he had is a behavioral problem. That's hard. Jail doesn't change that. He has to change. Yeah, it's a behavioral thing that he has to be able want to be. He has to be able to change within. The system can't change him. He has to say in his mind, "I'm redefining myself." It has to start with him. If not, he'll make the same mistake again. He'll make the same mistake again, and he'll be right back here, and we'll be covering the case again. And it might happen again because some of the people that I think that's being used, they're saying that a case is coming. So he's not out of the water yet. He's not out. He's not out of hot water yet. They're trying to implicate him in a murder. That's why people talking. And that's, there's no statute of limitations on that. All they have to prove, all they have to say it came back to him. They have to be able to connect the dots though, because he still have good representation. So they have to connect the dots on it or they're going to lose because he has resources. But if they can connect the dots, Lord help him. Because you got people that used to work for him is saying certain things. You have somebody out there now that was too young during that time and saying that he had something to do with Tupac Shakur's death. And he said, "Are you sure?" He said, "For certain, for sure." So that could be the establishment sending him to say that. So this chapter might not be over. It might just be a chapter in a movie. We might be turning another chapter. Now, if they can connect the dots, and if he was responsible, then he's gonna have to pay. Some people think they can get away with it. No, you don't get away. It's no statute of limitations. Look at the Gilgo Beach guy. Some of these, they said some of this happened in the 1970s, maybe or early 80s, and now he's sitting up in jail now. I told you it's a shift going on. It's not that they're just coming after Puff because he's a quote unquote black man. Rex Heuermann is a white man, and they locked his ass up. He thought he was gonna get away with it. Allegedly, he. I'm gonna say allegedly because he hasn't been convicted, but he's a white man, and he's sitting up there in state prison, state jail, waiting, fighting his case. Weinstein was a white man. He can't get out of jail to save his life. He can't get out of prison to save his life. So there got to be a shift going on too. Has to be. I could see if they were just coming after all brothers, but they're not. But like how I started this channel off with Armon Wiggins, he got to be careful. You know why? There's levels to this media thing. There's levels to this. Once you start getting a lot of views, you have to watch what you say. You got to watch what you say when you're not getting the views. Just in case you start getting the views, you got to practice watching what you say and do. He knows that now because they quickly turned on him. So he had to write a statement. Anytime you have a YouTube channel and you don't need a boss, you need to be careful. All he has to do is turn on his cell phone and talk to you. And he make money more than the average person. Tisa Tells have to watch what she say and do. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, she worked for the system, this and that. If she is, she got to play her position. She got to play her position. Because she's getting to the views to where what she say matters. So they can use it. Like, you know what? It ain't nothing for them to come to, hey, listen here. We like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? We need you to say this and that, this and that. She's like, okay. Then they won't bother. She'd be cool. She'd be cool. Now, if she start going in a different direction, then she'll be on the chopping block. She'll be on the chopping block. All right, so let me give y'all some intel on what really happened here with the surprise witness. There's a YouTuber. Her name is BJ. BJ. I met her. I met her, I guess it's her fiance or husband. I'm not sure what he is. But I sat there and talked to them. So I know who she is. She know who I am. She called the surprise witness. I don't know, y'all might have heard this is going around now on what happened in the line. Now, I wasn't there in the line when it went down, but apparently it went down. Secret Service Sam, he was there, and a couple other sisters, which I met, and BJ, the surprise witness. I know a lot of people have mentioned her in on my channel. Hey, have you listened to the surprise witness, Max? We listened to the surprise witness. I said, I never listened to the surprise witness before, but I know who she is. And check this out. So the surprise witness, okay? She's a former, well, she's an attorney. She don't practice anymore. So she know a little way around the legal system, you know what I'm saying? Y'all should know who she is if you've been following this case. Okay, here come this. So apparently she was trying to get into the main courtroom the last day, and she was trying to get in the main courtroom. When you get, hold on, she was trying to get in the main courtroom, right? Man, is there food around here somewhere? No. She was trying to get in the main courtroom, right? And so there was some drama that happened outside of the line. Now I can't speak on that because I wasn't there. Because I'm not trying to get in the main courtroom because it is drama. There's only a certain amount of seats for regular people. When I say regular people, I'm talking about not press. Now the reason why I didn't get my press badge is because I'm being lazy. That's why I didn't get it. But I could have got it within 48 hours or 24 hours. Because everybody was saying, "Why don't you get your press badge?" I'm like, this case is almost over. And but yeah, you said you're trying to follow other cases. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. So she got into a little bit of drama, and there's two sides to the story. Somebody I'm cool with, he was backing up the surprise witness, and he said they were treating her kind of foul, right? And it got racial on the line. You feel me? Yeah, the squirrel, man. The reason why he's over here because this guy sit at this same bench and feeds them. So he thinking I'm gonna feed him, but I don't have nothing. But so it got a little racial, you know what I'm saying? So all right. So moving forward. So you remember when I was out there and they closed, this was after the oil incident. So I said, you know what? I was sitting there. I said, guys, you know what? I'm about to get offline because I'm about to go inside. So my homegirl went inside, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to go inside because they were saying to me that they're closing it off and people are not going to be able to get in there and to see the sentencing. I mean the bond hearing. So I was like, all right. I went inside. So when I got inside, we couldn't go in the courtroom because the judge said that he'll be out at 1 o'clock. So I'm in there. So then they came back and said, guys, he said 5 o'clock. So we all had to leave the courtroom. So I said, I'm not going outside because it's hot out there. I'm just not going out. So we all went to the cafeteria. So, I'm mad chill, man. I'm chill with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a beef with nobody. The sisters, I like those sisters out there. I like, I got rapport with them. JC be in my chat, JC and whatnot. JC, if you listening, you know what I'm saying? I'm not telling this story from the perspective of me being on the line because I wasn't there. So I can't say you're wrong. I can't say nobody wrong, right? So I'm sitting there. I said, let me get something to eat. So what did I did? I got a sandwich. And I decided to eat a sandwich. And I was chilling, me and Celebrity Scandalous. The surprise witness was there. I think it was either her husband or her fiance. He was there. Another brother was there. And we were all building, you know what I'm saying, talking about this case. And she seemed cool with me. You know what I'm saying? She seemed cool, you know what I'm saying? We were talking. Because I had talked to her before. This wasn't the first time her and her husband or fiance. He mad cool, right? I believe he's like Punjabi or something because he wear the hat and he got the hair. I'm not sure if he Punjabi. I'm not sure what he is. But anyway, they cool, right? So I'm chilling. So then we got the word that Cassie sent a letter to the judge, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. She sent a letter to the judge, so they were letting us know what time it was, like, and all that. So the surprise witness was trying to figure out, but she wouldn't go over to that table though. So we were inside the cafeteria. So eventually I said, man, I'm going outside. They have like a little outside area. It's very nice. It got seats out there, very nice views of the city. You can just sit out there and just really just get your mind right and change your vibration. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you this story from my perspective. I'm just telling you, I'm not lying. The celebrity scandalist can back me up. Um, No, I'm not bringing no mouse traps. And so yeah, so I was just sitting there chilling. Oh, for the squirrels? Nah, man, they just doing what they doing out here. They don't care I'm sitting here. These city squirrels. They trying to see if I think I'm gonna let them hold something. But so I'm just sitting there chilling. I said I'm gonna go outside, man. Celebrity said, yeah, I'm going out with you. So I'm just sitting out there, just really, just like taking it in, man. Just really chilling, because we're gonna be out here to 5 o'clock. We had a lot of time to kill, and so we chilling. Then this is surprise witness. Her fiance or husband. They sit at my table. Um, uh, Somebody I met there, he cool. He sit at my table. Celebrity there. And then the ladies that had a beef with, they had a beef from the morning with her. They had shared some paperwork. So my boy was reading the paperwork. So we just sitting there chilling, and surprise witness was into it because he was reading it out loud. So she was all into it, right? Because she was going to explain to us from a lawyer perspective on what to think next. That's what she was doing. She was giving us game on what Diddy is facing next. She was like, yeah, he could get a couple years. He can get this. He can get time served. He can, she was going through all the scenarios, right? She said, it ain't over. You know what I'm saying? He may not get bail, but he may can work this. He can work this angle. He can work this, blah, 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 right? So she letting us know. So he wasn't finished yet. So then the sister came over. Yo, it's not funny. Yo, JC, if you listening, it's not funny, right? So the sister came over, right? And I didn't know they had a beef from the morning. I didn't know this. And I ain't know surprise witness get down like that. You know what I'm saying? She ain't running from no fade. I didn't know she was like that. You can never judge a book by its cover. I'm just telling y'all this. Never judge a book by its cover. I didn't think that she don't run for no fades. Apparently she don't. So she's sitting there, right? They looking at her, and then surprise, and she was like, I don't know how it went down, but because I was sitting there, and uh, um, my homeboy got the paperwork snatched out of his hand because surprise witness said something slick, right? I was like, why is she saying something slick? I didn't realize that it was a beef from the morning until I saw a Secret Service Sam video today. Then it all made sense. So and then he didn't like that he got the paper snatched. He said, you need to come over here with our people. Okay? It got racial, yo. It got racial. You need to come over here with our people. So I felt uncomfortable, right? I'm like, damn, Surprise didn't do nothing to me. She didn't do nothing to me, y'all. She was chilling. Like, ever since I've seen her, she just been chilling. She ain't do nothing to me. So she's like, you need to come over here with our people. And then Surprise Witness said, y'all can't even read the shit, and y'all don't even understand the shit. Yo, guys, she broke it off like she a sister and all that. The way she broke it off. The way she set it off, yo. The way she set it off, she was like, yo, fuck that. She said it just like that. She said, nah, fuck that. She said, y'all don't even understand what the fuck y'all reading. You know what I'm saying? She said it just like how I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? She said it just like that. Y'all don't even understand what the fuck y'all reading. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is she breaking bad? So I felt uncomfortable, and the lady said, this ain't the 1930s no more, bitch. Or something she said. Not bitch, but she might as well say bitch. Because that's how she broke it down. So I said, okay, they really squaring up on each other right now. So they all went back to their table. She said, y'all need to come over here with your people. And she said, this ain't the 1930s no more. So it got all the way racial, right? So I'm like, all right, boom, bust it. I was like, all right, what happened here? What happened? I'm going to tell you what happened with Tisa in a minute. So what happened here? I was like, yo, why they beefing like that? I'm thinking of just some catty shit with women. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, they being catty and all that. You know what I'm saying? But the way Surprise Witness was talking, she was talking like she from the streets. She code switching. She stopped code switching. She's like, wait a minute. She said, y'all can't even read this shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't even understand the shit. So go ahead and take your little paperwork, right? And I was like, oh shit. So then I was like, you know what? I got up and went to the terrace so I can just watch the views and all that. Then Celebrity came over there near me. And I'm trying to change the subject matter. I said, yo, they go to pizzeria right there. She said, where? She said, I said, right there. I'm gonna go there, right? And she wanted to talk about. I'm trying to change the subject because surprise witness is still looking at me, right? It's still going down, right? It's just all the way going down. So I'm like, fuck this. So she's like, I gotta use the bathroom. Let's get out of here. So I had to use the bathroom too. So we got up out of there. Surprise witness left too, and her husband, whatever. So when I got out to the when I finished using the bathroom, I was waiting for celebrity. Tenny Garagos walked by. This is like a movie, right? And she looked at me. She did a double take. She said, "Oh hey," it's like she knew who I was. She was like, "Oh hey," and she was like, I don't know if she was looking for her old man because Mark Garagos was in the break room. I don't know. She must have been looking for her old man. I don't know, but his ass was chilling in the break room, chilling, listening to music. I don't know what he was listening to because lawyers can bring their phone in the building. Everybody else got to check their phone in, but if you're a lawyer and all that, you can bring your phone in. So we decided to at that point it was time to go to the courtroom. So when I went into the first overflow room, it got real packed, and I didn't want to be in there. I was like, a celebrity left. She went into the other overflow room because she didn't want to sit where everybody. She wanted to sit in the back. I wanted to sit in the back too, but the brother in there didn't want nobody to sit in the back. He said those seats are reserved. I'm like, reserved for who? That's what I was saying to myself. I'm like, you know what? I'm going into the other overflow room, right? So when I went in the other overflow, oh no, the first overflow room, Tisa Tells come in. Now I gotta tell y'all what happened with that. So Tisa Tells come in, but she sit in the back. She didn't sit with the guy. She sit in the back. And I believe they had her sit. I'm like, why? They was like, why is she in the overflow room? I said, because of security reasons. Because people already beefing with her. You see what I'm saying? I'm not beefing with her. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see no need to. Like, I'm just all about peace, you know? But they beefing with her, whatever. So I saw her. She had her people around. She didn't have a security with her, though. See, her security didn't come in because, they got shit on them. So they can't come in. All right. So she in there by herself with her people. So they chilling. So then when I leave, they said it just all the way set off, yo. It just all the way set the fuck off with her. Somebody threatened her and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So all that shit went down. I should have stayed in there, yo. Like, they really give it to y'all, but that's what happened with her. So then I go in the other overflow room. The other overflow room is mad peaceful. So here come surprise witness. She comes in. Now she got shades on. She looking tight. She wearing expressions. Okay, now she wearing expressions because she's still tight. I didn't know she was still tight from that morning. You know what I'm saying? So she's still wearing expressions. So then finally, she walked out. I guess she went back in the other overflow room because I guess she felt like I'm not running from these women. So she went in the other overflow room. She just looking for some smoke, right? So she left. Her husband came back where I was. So then the judge came in, guys, and he set it off, yo. No, first Puff came in. I saw when he came in, and then they were all going over their presentation, I guess. Then as soon as the judge came in, they all rise to the judge. He came in. As soon as he set it off, he just set it off immediately, saying no bail. Guys, it was like a movie, yo. I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm an extra in a movie. You said she is Louisiana. Okay, see, somebody come up here starting. They starting or see the energy is here already, guys. See, it says she Louisiana trailer park. So it's a divide with her right now. I'm just letting y'all know. So if y'all don't know why people hating on her is because of what happened that morning. They felt like she ditched somebody. They said she ditched somebody. So what happened was when you go on the line, right? You got to go get in. You got to go check in. And Mike, I know who Mike is. They said Mike had some stuff with him. It took him a while to get to the second line. And they said she ditched Mike. And then they said that the marshal was siding with her. And they said she was acting like she went into full Karen mode. You feel me? They said she went into full Karen mode. And he sided with her. So that's the beef right there. Okay, her fiance. Okay. Okay, let me get it right. So her fiance, because I'm not sure who he was, but obviously he was with her. That's his old lady. But I did detect a accent in her. I just didn't know what part of the South she was from. Okay, Louisiana. Okay, cool. It makes sense. So she was sitting there just like not giving a fuck, right? Like I'm like, where is this coming from? Because we were sitting in peace. We were all in peace, just sitting in peace. Because she was already outside already. I came to her table and sat with her, and we were just chilling. And I didn't know that there was some beef going on. I didn't know that. So, because it always go down on that line. That's why I don't go on that line. It's only 14 spaces or whatever. So I'm not trying to deal with it. I could see Puff quite clearly, so I'm good. You know, I could see his expression. They had him zoomed in too, so I'm like, I don't need to go in there. But that's what happened. It was they were beefing, and it got racial. It sure did. That lady said, "This ain't the 1930s, okay? This ain't the 1930s over here." I said, "Damn, why she taking it there? What really had something? I like something happened." She said, "Y'all can't read this shit anyway, and you can't understand it." I was like, "Yo, what happened, man? It's crazy." So that's what happened. It's a few other things went down with Tisa, right? So here's the thing. Here's the skinny on Tisa. So people are thinking that she was working for the DA because another guy said it. He said she was working for the DA because they said this is what they said what happened with her. They said she would wait online like everybody else, right? But then get out of line and the guards would come get her and she go right up to the courtroom. So they trying to put two and two together that she got some type of pull up in there to where she ain't got to wait online. So, and they thinking that she worked with the DA. You know what I'm saying, to spread information. Now my thing is, I'm old school with it. If you're gonna put a jacket on somebody, you gotta have some paperwork. Okay, do you got something to prove that she working for the DA? Then okay, I'll rock with that. Now she's been every but cordial with me. Now somebody if you go to my video that I put up on her, some people said, man, she ain't even respecting you. You sitting up there talking to her, she's sitting up there on her phone, right? That's the sentiment. They said, man, she ain't even respect you and all that, blah, 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 blah. I said, wait a minute. I interrupted her because she was working on her thumbnail. Because she works on her thumbnail and she about to go live. Because she said, yeah, I'll talk to you real quick, but I'm about to go live. I'm working on this. But I can work on this while I'm talking to you. Now I'll talk to you. That's what she said to me. It wasn't no disrespect. It wasn't no disrespect. She was getting ready to go live and get to it. So that's what happened. But I have talked to her before without the cameras. You said she's proud. Where's she from? I don't know. Was she from the trailer park? I don't know. I know one thing. If you know about these trailer parks, you can live cheap on the low and you can live kind of good. If you know, shit, you got a plot of land, because I got a plot of land in Virginia that I'm thinking about turning into one. But yeah. So that's what happened. It was a lot of beef going on. He did drop to his knees and start playing for real. He did. I wasn't there for that, but I heard it. And the artist captured it. The artist captured it. He got to his knees. Now, shout out to the artist. The way she drew it, like he had himself hiked up. I don't know if he was like that. It looked weird, but yeah, he was dropped to his knees. You said who was a very nice person? The surprise witness, BJ or Tisa? Soaring energy. Which one is a nice person? But I just know that Yeah, they went off on the artist because when he bent down, it's like his butt was in the air. Yeah, it's LOL, not his back being. It was arched in the air, yo. It was. I'm like, was he really like that? Like, holy crap. She had it arched up, man. Like they off the hook. Who's a nice Southern? Who's a nice person? Soaring Energy. You said she is a very nice person. Who are you talking about? Like I saw that. I saw that picture. I said, was this? He had it. He had it tooted up like that. He couldn't have had it tooted up like that, man. It was tooted up, J Boss. Pause. The sketch artist is something a legend, and the sketch artist is very nice. I met one of them. She's a very nice person. I can't do that, so I can't knock her. But I'm just looking at that one photo. It was kind of tooted up. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, was it like that, man? Like, really? Come on, man. But I find something funny in anything. So y'all just don't mind me. You said, Soaring Energy, who's a nice person? Which one is a nice person? Who's she talking about, guys? That's a nice person? Tisa or BJ? And she made him look old. She made him it look crazy. He don't look like that. His mouth was like a certain way. Butt tooted up in the air. I'm like, yo, yo, they wildin'. They wildin'. They wildin', yo. And like, I'm thought I'm the only one that noticed that. I said I ain't gonna say nothing about it because I don't want to make it like I'm picking on them. But was it too? Lord have mercy. She is out here. Lord have mercy. Let me stop. Let me stay focused. Um, yeah, they still fighting. You still surprised I went to the trial? I thought you were joking at first. Yeah, Max, I went right on up there. I sure did. He had it tooted up, Southern Breeze. If you go look at that picture of him praying, it's multiple photos. They did multiple drawings because there's more than one sketch artist in there. Just to let you know. And one of the sketch artists I met, she be chilling in the cafeteria. She mad cool too. But yeah, I don't know if she the one did that. It was tooted up, man. I was like, bruh, oh my god, man. I say, man, I don't know why my eyes see that. I don't know why I see that, man. It was tooted up, man. It was tooted like he tooting it up for the man. He tooting it up like here I'm here to receive. God damn it. Oh, BJ. Yeah, BJ is cool, man. But she got a little bit of attitude in her, man. She do. I didn't think she did. She damn sure do. And she ain't afraid of the funk. She not, yo. She said I was attacked. She said she was attacked and threatened. I said, BJ, damn, what you do, BJ? What did you do? And she got her dog, her pit, with no leash on, and he looking right dead at me. He looking right at me too. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. Yo, you put that on a shirt, man. That's diabolical. If you put that on the shirt. What she did was diabolical, man. The way she illustrated them, it's an illustration. You gotta understand it's an illustration, so it's gonna look crazy. But he had the way his face looked. It looked like he was taking it. The way his face looked, yo. Oh my God, I know he saw that. And I know he got a problem with that. Okay, now you promoting Carcino. Carcino for life. Well, tell Carcino to hit me up. He need promotion, man. He don't need no promotion from me. Go on somewhere now. Go on somewhere. Carcino for life. Okay, BJ is a nice person. Okay. Well, she was nice to me. She was sitting up there like talking just legal talk. Like, yeah, well, she was like, there's a few things that could happen. She said that he hasn't been in trouble within the past 10 years. She said he got that working on him. She said he's never been convicted on anything. So she don't see why he don't get the low end. She said the way it's set up, he might have to do a little bit of time, but she said not like, whoa, 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 get away from me. Oh shit. Get away from me, man. What is he doing? The fuck? Under the bench? By my sneaker? Yeah, get away. I don't have nothing, man. I don't have nothing for you. He over by my sneaker, man. What the fuck? Yeah, she was just telling me the ins and outs. She said it's not absolute. She said, you know, there's a lot of work he can do still, even though he got denied. She said there's some things they could do, you know, like that. She said it's not over yet. It's just over today, but it's not over yet. She said he's still in a good space, you know, as far as, considering the circumstances. He was facing life. So, I'm just chilling, man. I'm just mad chill. So I didn't really, they got the beef and right in front of me, yo. And she did not back away from the funk. I had her all the way fucked up. I said, damn, she's sitting up here giving it up like that? Her husband was just mad quiet. Yo, shout out to him. Is that her husband or fiance? Her fiance was mad quiet, yo. She was mad quiet. And, I mean, he was mad quiet, and I'm looking at him, he looking at me, and I'm looking at her. She said, that's why y'all can't understand this shit. Y'all don't understand what the fuck y'all read. You see what I'm saying? You don't understand what the fuck y'all. I said, oh my God. Lord have mercy. BJ, I said, I wanted to tell you, please stop. Just stop. But I didn't know that they had a beef in the morning. I said, will you please stop? Can you do that? But she wasn't going to stop. She was what you call holding her ground, and they weren't backing down either. So then they walked away. They said, you need to come over here with your people. I said, damn, they took it there. She said it wasn't the 1930s. So, and then Secret Service Sam being messy, you know what I'm saying? Like, he keep it going because he had his whole video today. And just to let you know about him, he down with it too. Like, he's all in the mix. He's in the mix. And but they saying it's her fault. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't speak on it. But she said she was attacked and about, that. So I wouldn't. So that's it. That's what happened. But I do know it go down in that line though. It does. So my other homegirl, she got in the line and she almost didn't get in because of the politics. Somebody come up and just ditch the line. You like when you want to get in, you have to stand your ground. You can't let nobody ditch you. So if I was there, it wasn't nobody gonna ditch me. So I didn't want to do it because I'm not gonna be out there since 2 a.m. and get ditched. That's not happening. So I didn't even try. But if you get out there At a certain time, you should be able to get in. You said Tisa need to calm down. Tisa ain't afraid of the funk. Tisa Tells ain't afraid of the funk either. She's not. These women not afraid of shit. They not, yo. She not afraid of the funk. They sitting there talking. She ain't have her bodyguards around. She's sitting up there giving it up, yo. Like, get the fuck out. Get out of here, yo. And she got some size to her. The guy that was talking to her, I know he's still a man, but he petite. He's sitting up there selling wolf tickets. And she's sitting up there wolfing them back, yo. Like what? She's still a sister at the end of the day. I don't give a damn. People say she only like white men, this and that. I don't know what her deal is, but I know she got sister in her. I know that much. I know that much. I know that much. I know that much. She got height on her too. Yeah, the brother look petite, man. He like a size 1. I'm talking about the camera make you look bigger. In person, he a size 1. I ain't been that size since grammar school. He don't look like he eat at all. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I just don't like people talking greasy to women like that. I don't like that. I don't care. Whatever you think she working for the man, you ain't got to talk greasy to her. Because you're doing it in front of people. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like that. If you don't like what she's doing, just don't pay her no never mind. She's still going to do her thing. Yo, she animated. It's hilarious. The way she do her stuff, she really animated. So she's sitting there doing her thing, and he's sitting there yelling. There was another lady yelling at her, too. Now, there was another person yelling at her, but she wasn't a vlogger. Now, that's who she had to be worried about, because she looked like she can run the 3 technique. And if you got somebody that look like they can run the 3 technique for the New York Jets, yeah, you got to be worried, okay? For my football players, you know what I'm talking about. Damn, Max, she looked like she could run the 3 technique. Yes, yes, yes. You know, Warren Sapp did the 3 technique, for sure. So you need to leave her alone. Yeah, I saw the juror that spoke out. He said the video wasn't even all that. He said the video was tame. So Mark Garagos wasn't lying. And they said the video wasn't really that raunchy. It wasn't even all that. Okay? They said it wasn't even all that, yo. It wasn't nothing to write home about. It was very tame. They said it was just a lot of oil and this and that. But he said, you know, but I don't know. Coming from his perspective, I don't know. Maybe he watched a lot of adult film. I don't know. But he said that wasn't nothing for him. You said it's like they forming them on. Here come the bird now. It must be a sign. Maybe they might see I'm cool, man. And here come this damn squirrel again, dog. Here he come. Go that way. No, that way. Go. Go. See, I'm slapping my hand. He want me to. No, he forming on me, dog. He forming on me. He like coming in back of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you gonna give me something to eat, brother. Brother, hey, look, he's circling me. He's like, you gonna. He was like, you go somewhere. What the fuck? I don't got nothing for you, bro. I don't have nothing to eat. I don't have nothing for you, bro. They need to stop feeding them out here, man. Cause they train. Go back, go back. All right, let me go, man. Is some food around here? It must be. I hope he ain't rabid. There's some shells around here. It must be some food in the back that he want to get. It got to be some food in the back. But nah, I'm not doing that, Jay. That ain't the kind of karma I want right now. But yeah, you seem it's like they forming on her. It seemed like it. But I'm gonna tell you, she's a one woman army. She's like, whatever, yo. Y'all can say what y'all want, man. Whatever, yo. Whatever. Oh, it's a squirrel, Alexi. It's a squirrel over here, man. He by my foot, yo. And he keeps circling me. It's some food back here that he want. And he trying to like, yo, you get up, bro. But he ain't, I don't trust it, man. Why is he so damn close? But it's a guy that sit on this bench and all the squirrels will be around him and he feeding them. I guess he thinking I'm supposed to do the same thing. I don't have nothing for him. Then he by the tree looking. This is crazy. But yeah, they forming on her, but I don't know. It do seem that way, but she probably be there for the sentencing. Yeah, she probably be there for whenever the sentencing gonna be. Then she'll come, like that. Somebody said to me, "You think all these people gonna be here for Luigi case?" I said, "Nah. I might not even have a problem getting in the main courtroom. They just here for Puff. Even though Luigi case might be bigger, that case might be bigger. You might be getting a lot more clout with that case. But yeah,
No, it's like it's widely, you know what I'm saying, like in circles, like it's like, no, like first off,
here she come with that dog. He looking right at me. He ain't got no. He looking dead at me too, and he ain't got no leash on. Okay, he gonna usher stuff. All right, well, cool. We know about Usher. Usher Raymond. She getting mad close, and here come this dog. Yeah, I don't know about this, man, but she got her own views on it. Everybody got their own views on it. So be it. So be it, man. But she ain't backing down. No way. She like, I don't give a damn what y'all saying. Yeah, Luigi case gonna be bigger. Believe it or not, because of that healthcare thing and how he did it. And it's a whole talk on how they doing with the healthcare. But we'll see. Hopefully he don't take no deal. Then I can follow. I can come back for that case. Yeah, he gonna have protesters, everything. I'll be able to get a lot of stuff. But what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start just capturing events around the city. I'm gonna start doing that. Just in case there's any protests going on and stuff like that. I should have went out there for that Pride parade. Because the brother went out there and captured that, man. He got over 500,000 hits, you know? And he said it was real laid back. He said it was mad laid back out there. He got all the footage. He was live during it. He got over 500,000 hits in like 8 hours. That's like getting paid to be there. That's literally getting paid to be there. I'm gonna like cover like kind of the events and stuff. Just be out there. If there's some protests going on, I will be out there. Boy, if y'all don't stop with this spamming, I don't know what to tell you. Those are not bots though. Those are people doing it, and they subscribe to me too. Y'all don't stop spamming, man. But yeah, I can't wait for that trial for sure. And then his next court date, I'm gonna be there. As soon as his next court date, I'm gonna be sitting up there right with him. Be sitting up there with Luigi. For sure I am. Be sitting right up there with Luigi, man. You said there's a Diddy protest today or tomorrow. I ain't gonna be able to go today. If it's tomorrow, I'll go. I'll go to the protest tomorrow. Not today. You said Cassie was wild just like Diddy, but it's over with now. It's over with. Now here's the thing. What happens if they try to charge him again with racketeering? That could be the case too, because he. No, I'm sorry. No, he was found not guilty on it. My bad. That's double jeopardy. Sorry. I thought it was a hung jury. I keep thinking it's hung jury. No, he found not guilty on it. He good. He's straight now. It's over with. Unless they try to come back with some other case. Not racketeering, though. He's done with that. Racketeering is over. Okay, we got the dream person. Okay, you got to go. Okay, you got to go. Damn, y'all are very resilient in the spamming. Y'all very resilient. I give y'all that. Y'all ain't no joke with it. If y'all take that energy and hustle for yourself, man, y'all would be unstoppable. I'm gonna find out if the Diddy protest tomorrow. I'll be there. Free Diddy. Yeah, it's a waste of time because I just get them out of there anyway. And you know it's bad. You spamming on Independence Day. Damn. You're like, man, I got a Frico shirt. Yeah, I got a Frico shirt. Um, Charlucci gave them out for free. Yeah, Charlucci did. Oh, I can't wear it to the protest because I'd be looking crazy out there. If I went out there like that, you know something wrong with you. Now you got to worry about me. If I'm out there with that on, it's a schmedium. I like, damn, he ain't got no extra large. It's a schmedium. I mean, it'll be super tight. Man, if I go out there like that, you see me in the protest, like, yo, something wrong with him. We gotta watch him. Okay, we got the Dream Pro. Okay, spamming. Okay, he's spamming again. Boom. That's it, man. They spamming. They say you're not gonna get away with this, Max, out here talking on the 4th of July. We're gonna spam you. We're gonna yeah, we're gonna spam you on the 4th. No, I can't breathe in that. That's how you know something wrong with me. I'll be out there looking crazy. I'll be getting all the wrong attention. Because that thing fit like a belly shirt on me. Yeah, it'll fit like a whole belly shirt. Looking crazy. That's the wrong attention. Because I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's a medium. And it'll be all tight around the shoulders and the chest area. And it'll look crazy, yo. It'll look all crazy. Man, yeah, they were passing out the free puff shirts, but they were all like large, smalls and mediums. I couldn't put that on. If they say put that on, I said I can't put that on. It'd be all tight. It'll be a belly shirt for me, and it'll look like I'm really freak off ready. And did you hear one of the guys came out and said that they allegedly gave him a STD, and he's suing now. So that he's suing Diddy and Cassie. So just know she about to get sued too. Ain't that something? So her legal woes is not over because he gonna sue him. Now it's his fault he's sitting up there barebacking. Yeah, they gonna say he's starting to sue her. He said, yeah, they gave him something. Now how he gonna prove that they did it? Do he got any paperwork or how he gonna prove that? That ain't going nowhere. Or I heard he might come back and sue her now, Diddy, for something. Anyway, guys, let me get out of here. I'll be back a little later to see what y'all talking about. See what y'all getting into. Be safe at these cookouts. If you go into a public cookout, leave after the sun go down, or leave before the sun go down. You know what I'm saying? Leave before the sun go down. That's how it is over here. But all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later.